Most people don't know what they want, and they can't. Most people don't know what they can do, and they really can't. It's just like when you were a kid and you were going to go to college and you had to figure out what you wanted to be when you grew up. You didn't know what you wanted to be. Why? Because you had never done any things that you might want to be. You had never been a CPA or an attorney or a medical doctor or a nurse or a psychologist or anything. And those are not easy experiences to get early on in life. It's really tough to get people to allow you to practice medicine on their body while you're 14 years old and then say, oh, I want to be a doctor when I grow up. We don't know. People don't know. Every single day you're meeting with people. You're talking with people in your house, at the office, the person that you're going to ask out. All of these people, they don't know what they want. And so you have to know and realize and recognize people don't have a clue what they want. They just don't know. So what are you going to do? It's really easy for people like you and I to look at other people and go, you know, this person would be great at X. And then all of a sudden, you're talking about it one day with them and they say, gee, I don't know if I could do X. You're sitting here watching them do almost the same exact thing. So you've got to be able to make sure that you have the capacity to get the message across to them that they're quite capable of doing X, and it wouldn't be all that difficult. They'd probably do well at it, much better than whatever perhaps that they're currently doing. So the first thing we have to recognize in communicating with some of these people, about half of all people, is that you can't just tell them what to go do. Sometimes you can. About half of all people you can. I really enjoy working with those people because I say, go do this, you'll have this result. And then they go do this and have this result. That's nice, but not everybody's like that. Sometimes you have to say, okay, so here you are. We have the universe of possibilities over here. We have ABC through XYZ. We have all of these possible options and variables that you could do. Which one do you think might be really cool for you? I know the person's going to do well at X, and I'm not convinced they're going to do well at ABCYZ. So they say, well, I'd probably find, B pretty interesting. I'd like to be a race car driver. I'm thinking race car drivers don't have a long life expectancy. I don't want my client to do that. Well, that's a really interesting choice. I bet you that would be a lot of fun. What other great choices are up there? And they say, well, I suppose I could be, I know what I could do. I could be a medical doctor. This person has hands of jelly. They have no capacity whatsoever in this area. They're in the wrong area. They can't even put batteries into a machine to make it go. No, this is the wrong thing. So you say, okay, X or Y is a really good option. What other great options are up there? And they say, well, I'd kind of like to do X. I'd kind of like to have a small business. I think I'd love to. This is the person who hates being at work, person who doesn't like other people telling them what to do, person who wants to make sure that everything that they do is all about what they're doing. Their creative input is so important. Say, oh, that's really interesting. Okay, so we have some good choices up here. We have B, X, and Z. All right, so those are all really, really good choices. You could probably do just fine at any of them. So now we have a really good set of answers here. We have a good set of options. And we've basically thrown the rest out because we just got the right answer. Okay, we have whatever letters we said, B, X, and Z, okay? Let's say that that's what they were, B, X, and Z. And so we have the correct answer on the board. Now it's down to 3. Now we've taken a universe and we've turned it into a choice problem. These are much, much, much easier. Now, directing the person back and saying, B, the thing is you'd certainly love it and you'd have this, but you'd have to be up around all weekend and you'd be on call 24/7 and you'd always be at somebody else's beck and call. A client calls you in the middle of the night. I don't know. It just seems not like you. You know what I'm saying? They go, yes. And the same thing for Z, right? And then, but X, you know what? If you're going to be on beck and call, you might as well be on beck and call for yourself and make 3 times as much doing the same thing as if you're working for somebody else. That's probably what makes sense. But I don't know. Maybe you would disagree. What do you think? And so that's how you do it with an individual and how you can direct that person to that specific target with that person. What if you're in a meeting though? What if you have like 20 people or 200 people or 15 or 5 people that you have to get all of their ideas and you have to direct traffic with them to the right solution? You're the consultant. You've already gone through all of the numbers. You've made the calculations. You already know what the company has to do if they're going to save money, generate more revenue, be more profitable, have a better quality product. So what you do is you have the entire room write out a list of all of the possible cool things that would work and explain why this would be a great great reason. Okay, why would it be a great reason? You then have all of the sheets collected, and you as the consultant take the sheets to the front of the room, and you're sitting there looking, and as you look at every single paper, you nod at some point on that paper. You literally point with your finger down, just like this, okay, like that, and you go. You don't tell the person what you liked. They don't know that it's their specific paper. They don't know that this is their feedback form or evaluation or suggestion form. These are simply everybody's documents. Then what you do is you take 3 of the 200 or 4, you stick the other 196 or 6 on the table over here, and then you take these 3 and you put them up on a whiteboard. And now you grab 3 ideas, of which one of them is your solution. And now you say, Bob, and you pick out somebody right there in the audience or in the meeting and you say, Bob, we got 3 choices here, just off the top of your head. Which of these 3 might make sense for your company? Let's say that Bob chooses incorrectly. Let's say that Bob makes a really dumb choice, that he didn't get that this was not a great choice and that B was the right choice in this case. He says A. You say, you know what, I can see that, I can see that. And then you go, Jane, what do you think? What do you think would be the right choice? And Jane says, well, I think B would be a great choice. Okay, so you sit there and she explains why, and you've got her sheet which allows you to explain back, and it's like, well, you also thought that it was this, right? So now everybody knows that you've actually read all of the evaluation forms or the suggestion forms, and you really haven't, of course. There's no way you possibly could, but people tend to give you a lot of credit when you nod your head. It's something that they wrote. They know that you evaluated, that they were right. They're geniuses. And so, okay, guys, we've got Bob's possibility of A, we got Jane's possibility of B. I think the great thing about Bob's idea is this. You X, you Y, you Z, you have this, you got this going, but what I see this company doing is I don't see people wanting to work overtime. Think of something that's really painful. Not anybody in that room wants to be working overtime. Almost anything is better than working past 5:30 at night, right? So, and Bob starts to think himself. It's like, you know what? I think that's a good reason. Now, Jane has the same alternatives over here. It accomplishes this. That's going to get us profits. It's going to get us better products. And the great thing about this is that we don't have to work overtime. Bob, are you okay going with an option? And we brought it down from 196 or 200 people here, or 10 people, to 2, as if these 2 people are going to make the decision all by themselves. And so we say, Bob, are you okay with Jane's idea where we actually do this, 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 and it doesn't cause us any overtime? Do you think that would be cool? And he says, if he's going to say yes. He just will, because he would be crazy to say no, because 196 other people are sitting here going, don't you dare give us overtime. We work until 5:30 every day. We're not staying until 7 every day for a year. No, no. And so obviously Bob says, well, you know what? I really do think that's a good idea. It makes a lot of sense. And then you go to the owner, to the manager, to the customer service manager, to whoever it is that you're doing the consulting for, and you say, does this make sense? We'll do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, and are you good with this too? And of course, the customer service manager says yes. The entire team has now voted, been involved, had creative input, and you collected 200 different ideas, all the ideas of which were gone, and the one idea that was put up on the board that would cause extra overtime, or whatever was the most painful possible thing that could happen in the moment, has been moved away, and you got that person to endorse the project of the person who would not have any pain attached to it. And that is how you let them direct traffic. Cool? Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you next time.